Well, good morning. Welcome to Wake Up Well. Today, in a very grey surroundings, I hope that you are having a bright, sunny day and that the Lord blesses you. We are looking at the Proverbs during August, and today we're looking at Proverbs chapter 14. And my question for me and for you today is this: am I being wise or am I being foolish? The Proverbs are full of exhortations to be wise and not to be foolish. Let's find out why. Verse 12 in Proverbs 14 says this: "There is a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death." And I think that is the human experience, isn't it? That's why Jesus described people who weren't in relationship and friendship with him as lost people. People who thought they were going in the right direction. They were following a path that seemed right, but it ends in death. And that's why he calls them lost. In verse 2, the proverb says, "Those who follow the right path fear the Lord. Those who take the wrong path despise him." It's as strong, isn't it, as that? It's as stark as that. When you can see that you're in relationship, friendship with God, and that's the path, you know it's the right path, even though sometimes it's tough, and it's tough to stay on the narrow path, is how Jesus described it, and not to enter to fall off. But when you can't see it, you don't just think it's, irrelevant. You think it's stupid. You think it's wrong. You think you actually despise that way of life. That's why, again, it's like being a lost person. In the same way, Jesus said, "You're blessed if you are persecuted." You and I know that we're on the right path, but it doesn't appear like that to people who aren't on it. And so that's where it's time to be wise and not foolish. Am I, therefore, question for you, am I and you being wise, or am I being foolish right now? Jesus said that those who are wise are the people who hear his words and put them into action. That's wisdom. So is that how I am living? Because I know what the Bible says about how to live. I know Jesus' words. I'm sure you know some of them. But are we doing them? Are we living them out? Are we believing them, but are we also putting them into action? That's wisdom. Simple as that. Why? Well, verse 9 of the proverb says this: "Fools make fun of guilt, but the godly acknowledge it and seek reconciliation." So if you're foolish, you don't even mind if you're sinning or if you're going down a stupid path. But the wise people will actually realise when we're guilty, maybe guilty of sin, or we've let people down, or we make mistakes, and we recognise it. And we seek reconciliation. We come to the Lord and say, "I'm sorry, I want that to be made right again." We come to other people, perhaps, that we've sinned against. That's real wisdom. And that's humility. Verse 9. That's all about humility. Verse 8. "The prudent understand where they're going, but fools deceive themselves." Let's not be the kind of person that deceives ourselves. Let's be prudent. Let's be humble. Let's realise, I'm on a path to a heavenly life, but it's a path that requires me to be humble and to be patient and to be the kind of person that seeks to make up for wrongs. Why? Why would I live this way when lost people think they're having a fantastic time, even though the Bible says that it's not the right path? Why? Well, there's a clear contrast between how life pans out, between an eventual outcome for the foolish and the wise. So, verse 22 of Proverbs 14, "If you plan to do evil, you will be lost. If you plan to do good, you will receive unfailing love and faithfulness." Isn't that a fantastic promise? If you plan to do good, eventually your life will be one of unfailing love and faithfulness from God towards you. Verse 27, "The fear of the Lord is a life-giving fountain. It offers escape from the snares of death." It's like a foundation. It's like springs of living water that bubble up within us. It's the good life. That's why we call it that way. That's why we should live that way. The alternative is verse 3, that a fool's proud talk becomes a rod that beats them. And so verse 7 says, "Stay away from fools, for you won't find knowledge on their lips." So we have alternatives every day in life. Am I choosing to be wise? Am I listening to the Lord's words and putting them into action in humility and prudence? Or am I really ultimately being foolish and thinking that I'm going the right way when I'm not? Those are our questions for today. Let's look around, let's look at ourselves, let's help those who are lost to find the good news, the good life of Jesus as well. and let's be a wise person today. So I bless you today.